let's get you the details of Times Now. Accessing a mega exclusive in the Trisha Sharma case. Special CCTV footage that shows Giribala Singh's lawyers at the very same beauty parlor where Trisha Sharma had visited before her death. Now, this exclusive footage, available only with Times Now, captures some key movements of the legal team at the premises, which is already under scrutiny in the ongoing investigation. These visuals are understood to show how the CCTV-related material was accessed from the location, which investigators consider a crucial part of evidentiary chain in the case. Let's break it down for you and get you what these visuals actually show. Take a look at these visuals and you can see the lawyers of Giribala Singh entering the beauty parlor. Here they are, the entire team entering the beauty parlor. Now, this raises some serious questions. Why are the lawyers walking into the very same beauty parlor where Twisha Sharma had visited just a few hours before her death? It raises some serious questions. Now, we understand if the police officials visit the beauty parlor, if they have to do any questioning. Why the lawyers of Giribala Singh, the mother-in-law who has been accused of mentally harassing her daughter-in-law Trisha Sharma? Now, if those were the visuals from outside, let's also show you what's happening on the inside as well, as the lawyers can be seen entering and they can also be speaking to the officials at the parlor. What are they asking? Why were they there? And why did they not let the police officials investigate the case? What was the information that they were trying to gather from there? And was it an attempt to intimidate? Those are the questions that still remain. Now, this footage actually shows how the lawyers of Giribala Singh, here they are, they can also be seen interacting with those at the parlor. Now, let's tell you why this becomes extremely crucial. Now, Twisha Sharma had visited this very beauty parlor and she was said to be here for about 2 to 3 hours. And this was just hours before her death. Now, contrast that with what the mother-in-law has been telling the media. She has been claiming that she was very depressed and she was hurting herself, and she raised many questions on her mental state. Would somebody with such mental pressure be visiting the beauty parlor just hours before her death? Those are the questions. And here they are, the lawyers who can be seen seated there, and look at them. They're also pointing towards the CCTV footage. So they are asking about the CCTV footage that is available at the parlor, what it captures, all of these details. But why are the lawyers of Giribala Singh conducting such an investigation? Let's tell you what questions this throws up. Now, following these exclusive CCTV visuals accessed by Times Now, there are a series of pointed questions that are now emerging over this entire procedure, access, and also the handling of what could be potential evidence in the case. The biggest question being, did these lawyers get access to the footage before the police officials? And can private lawyers get direct access to the CCTV? This is a private place, this is a private store. Can the private lawyers then enter and access this CCTV footage? And why? The question is, was there an attempt to tamper with the evidence? This becomes very crucial for the police officials. So why were the private lawyers there at the spot? What is the motive behind sourcing this CCTV footage? What were they doing? Was it an attempt to weaken the case of Twisha's family? And can the CCTV operator release this footage to private lawyers like this? Was it done under duress? These questions still remain. My colleagues Priyank and Richa are joining us on the broadcast with the details. Joining us is also Vikram Singh, former UP DGP. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I come to you, I just want to bring in Priyank on why this is extremely important. And Priyank, there have been multiple questions, and we also saw Richa also trying to speak to the mother-in-law and no answers until she was slandering her daughter-in-law. She was speaking to the media personal time and again, but when some serious questions were raised, she refused to answer. And this CCTV footage that we are looking at becomes very crucial because this is after her death. What were these lawyers doing at the beauty parlor?
That's a big question, Pratibha, because the set of the lawyers were certainly behaving like henchmen of Giribala Singh. We know that she holds a very key position in the consumer court, and because of which Giribala and his son had a good influence on the junior lawyers. Why these junior lawyers were sent, and in one of the footage which has been accessed by the SIT team of the Times Network, it is quite clear that the lady lawyer kept on talking to someone on phone and instructions were given. What is very alarming that in one of the footage, these lawyers can be seen talking to the parlor owners that this footage is very important for the police investigation. That's why we want to have it. Instead of thinking about how Samaj should get back and give justice to Trisha, or could have been there with the grieving family of Trisha, he preferred to run away. And then these lawyers who are, we exactly don't know whether they were lawyers or they were disguised as lawyers, they came at this particular location, certainly behaving like a henchman. See, anyone who is holding a law degree cannot be called as someone who is privy or should be privy to this kind of information. They need to be on the record. If that is a scenario, what were they doing? Who were these individuals who had sent them? There are many more unanswered questions which need to be brought in picture. Now, since the CBI is doing the preliminary investigation, Pratibha, we'll have to wait and watch that what will CBI do, because we have lost all the hope from the Bhopal police investigation, which has done the botch-up investigation, and these kind of clenching evidences are once again showing the police was napping, the suspects were trying to gather and temper evidence.
Yes, and Richa, the question is, what was the mother-in-law trying to find out? What were these details they were looking at? And look at the kind of claims that she has made about her daughter-in-law, speaking to the media time and again, raising questions on her, mental state. And you had the daughter-in-law visiting the beauty parlor just hours before her death. Is this an attempt to cover up? This is what the police officials or the CBI officials will be looking at, isn't it?
Well, definitely, because the timing timing of this particular visit of advocates to this location is very interesting, because this is after the call that Giribala Singh made to the beauty parlor. She called her to ask whether Twisha had gone there, and after getting the confirmation, she immediately sent the lawyers. And precisely at 1:17 p.m. On 13th of May, the team of lawyers went there. They first asked for the CCTV footage, but since the owner did not have it, the access, she asked the people to speak with the CCTV operator. But when he denied, these men, these women and men posed as they are someone working for the police. So they also said that that they want the CCTV footage for the police investigation. So what kind of planning was going there is one big question that comes to fore, because it was the very next day after Twisha's demise that the mother-in-law on the very next morning is calling a beauty parlor, sending her advocates. Was that an attempt to tamper the evidence, or what was she trying to get?
Yes.
And even when she spoke with the beauty parlor, she asked whether do you have any evidence that Twisha had
there
gone
is
there.
information that the mother-in-law had also inquired about what time she visited, till what time she was there, how she made her payments. All of these questions were asked by the mother-in-law. Is it even legal? Let me bring in Mr. Vikram Singh, thanking Priyank and Richa for joining us. Mr. Vikram Singh, this raises some very serious questions at a time when there are already questions on whether the family was trying to put some pressure on the investigations. What do you make of the fact that the private lawyers have visited this beauty parlor, have asked about the CCTV footage and also tried to gain access to it?
Good afternoon, Pratibha. Let me tell you that the lawyers and Giribala ji have truly transgressed the rule of law, and they could be liable under the old section 201 of the Indian Penal Code and 238 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. You, as a private citizen, have no right to tamper with the evidence, because you are an interested party and there's a conflict of interest. And if there's a conflict of interest, this is a sensitive piece of information which only the investigators and the police had a right to access and make use of as a part of the investigation. And what is the crucial part of investigation? Evidence. No private person, and especially those who have a vested interest and who have a conflict of interest, have any right. What they have done, they have a lot of answering to do before the investigators and the police department. And I take the strongest exception to this act of the lawyers in Giribala trying to access the CCTV footages under duress of the beauty parlor owner. This is totally unacceptable.
Yes, and as a judge herself, I'm sure she's also well aware of the law, isn't it?
Absolutely. She was fully aware, and she was also aware of the sensitive content. What she may have said there could have been, either a bailout for her, or perhaps incriminate her, or perhaps tell the mind state. You very rightly mentioned No person who's thinking of harming herself would go to a beauty parlor 2 hours before that.
Yes.
Obviously, this is indicative of the fact that she was absolutely mentally stable and healthy, and there was no volcano trying to erupt in her mind. Therefore, again, if there was nothing incriminating about her in-laws, the very fact that she was sane also has a lot of explaining to do
Yes.
for Giribala ji and the family and someone.
Yes, absolutely. Those questions still remain. Mr. Vikram Singh, thank you so much for joining us, explaining the legalities of the same. That's all we could pack for you in this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you for joining us. A short break.